Seeing that my name is not sufficient to draw the suckers, I can get a dozen people to play Jessica's part. Margaret O'Brien, Marjorie Main, Daisy, Agnes Moorehead. Makes no difference.
Star of stage and screen, Miss Agnes Moorehead.
Wanted to be a wicked woman. Oh, don't laugh. I don't think there's a lady in the audience that hasn't wanted to be a femme fatale at one time or another, or a gentleman worthy of the name who hasn't dreamt of being a gay seducer on a large scale. Well, I have been a wicked woman many times, on the stage, in the movies, and in television, and it felt wonderful. I got it out of my system that way, thank goodness. You know, in my most exotic moments, I've always wanted to be a scarlet woman in an elegant carriage in the Bois de Boulogne at the turn of a century. Paris, I love Paris. Well, what proper female wouldn't? You know, in Paris one time, a very charming gentleman sent me a mauve box tied with a big mauve satin ribbon, and in all the pinkish mauve tissue paper was a bouquet of Parma violets that size. The most romantic present I ever had in my whole life. Mauve is my favorite color. He knew it, the beast. I found a chapter in Marcel Proust's Remembrance of Things Past. It's about all that. Suddenly, on the gravel path, unhurrying, cool, luxuriant, Madame Swann appeared, displaying all about her toilette, which was never twice the same, but which I remember as being always mauve. Then she would hoist and unfurl at the end of its long stalk, just when her radiance was at its height, the silken banner of a wide parasol of a shade that matched the showering petals of her gown. A whole troop of people escorted her, Swann himself, 4 or 5 fellows from the club, obedient to her every gesture. Smiling, rejoicing in the fine weather, she was certain that her clothes were the smartest anywhere to be seen. In the month of May, people were accustomed to see Madame Swann gently but majestically seated like a goddess in an immense victoria on 8 springs. I saw her once, borne along by the flight of a pair of fiery horses, slender and shapely as one sees them in the drawings of Constant and Guise. I saw her once in a matchless victoria built rather high, deep down in which lay negligently back Madame Swann, her hair girt with a narrow band of flowers, usually violets, from which floated down long veils, a lilac parasol in her hand, and on her lips an ambiguous smile in which I read only the benign condescension of royalty, though it was really the enticing smile of a courtesan, which she graciously bestowed upon the man who bowed to her. That smile meant for one. Oh, yes. Yes, I remember quite well. It was wonderful. And for another, how I should have loved to. We were unfortunate. And for a third, yes, if you like. I've only to keep in the line of carriages for a moment, and then as soon as I can, I will break away. When strangers pass, she's still allowed to linger about her lips a lazy smile, which made them say, "Oh, what a lovely woman. Ah, what a lovely woman." Only for certain men, she had a sour, strained, cold, shy smile, which meant, "Yes, you old goat." I know you have a tongue like a viper, but do you suppose I care what you say? People would ask one another, "Who is she? Huh? Who is she?" And would stop to interrogate a passing stranger. A pair of fellows, half stopping in their walk, would exchange, "You know who that is? Madame Swann." That conveys nothing to you, eh? Odette de Crécy, then. Ah, Odette de Crécy. Ah, I thought as much. Those great, sad eyes. She's Madame Swann now, wife of a gentleman in the Jockey Club, friend of a Prince of Wales. Gad, she is lovely. She used to live in a very strange little house full of a lot of Chinese stuff. And I remember we were bothered all the time by the newsboys shouting outside. In the end, she made me get up and go. Without listening to these memories, I can feel all about her, the indistinct murmur of fame. Whenever I close my eyes and read, as it were, on the face of a sundial, the minutes recorded between 12:15 and 1 o'clock in the month of May, I see Madame Swann. Beneath her parasol, as though in the colored shades of a wisteria bar. Do you know what the very famous painter Whistler said about the color mauve? He said it was just pink trying to be purple.